I'm gonna be joining the 1K subs club very soon, God willing. So in celebration of my appreciation for everyone who subscribed and supported me so far, I want to give y'all a free sample kit. And I'll be talking more about that towards the end of this video, so stick around for that. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so right now. Plus hit the bell notification so that you get notified when I drop this free sample kit. So that'll be a link in the description of a future video. I got this calendar behind me, and I've scheduled in videos that I'll be working on to upload to YouTube. Yeah, I'd planned to do a video on trap bass in the MPC, but I'm waiting for update 2.6, and I believe it's dropping this month. I want to wait around to see if some of the features that a lot of people have been requesting, which would be useful for in the production of trap and trap bass, things such as glide or portamento within key groups. Now some of that can be done within the plugins, I believe, and I've been messing around with bassline, and that will be a focus of a future video. I'm doing this video in place of it because update 2.6 is coming out. I wanted to throw out a wish list of features that I would like to see the MPC do. Now I don't even expect any of that to happen. For one, I don't ever do feature requests. I kind of just lurk and look at what people are interested in. And I mean, like, yeah, that's what I want that too. But when I get a little chance later, I'm gonna have to do that later because my child is now getting into all my things there, and that's not safe. So all right, man, I'll check y'all in a bit. Now the first feature I think would be really cool if it was expanded is the track explode. Now track explode in itself is already a pretty cool and useful feature, but I think there could be some improvements to make it even better. I'm thinking about it from the standpoint of someone who is a finger drummer who wants to create in that way. Sometimes like clicking and stuff and erasing things with the screen and creating arrangement that way can be kind of boring. It's fun because I've been learning the process, but I may want to just play something out and then explode all my tracks. But as is, when you explode tracks, there's a set way that it does it, and it kind of gets in the way of the way I have things organized, the way that I want them, so that my workflow is just moving. I'm gonna have to go back and rename and move things around, and so that isn't efficient for me. So if I play something out like this, and then if I wanted to explode it, then I'd go to the track edit, and then I would hit explode, and then it already exploded everything. So in the way that it exploded it, what it did, it muted out my track that I had recorded all those MIDI events on, which is right here, and this is what it looks like. So everything, all the pad information that I just sequences right there for my finger drumming performance, and then it mutes that, and then it takes, well, see, one thing to note is that I have tracks pre-named because that's the way I set up a template so that it's ready in a way that works for me, and I streamline my workflow. So it moves all the tracks, all the individual pads when it explodes them to the next available track that hasn't been named, that's unused. And so it does that, and it'll move all of these tracks to its own, every one of these pads from the performance to its own track. So that's cool. It's cool to have the track explode, and I think that works great, you know, if you don't have a template already set up where you have things in place where you want them to be, and maybe that's good for just like finger drumming, simply drums as a performance. And I'll tell you why here in a second. Well, number one thing that I don't like about track explode is, well, the way that it names things. So the feature that I would be requesting, I think that would make track explode super dope, is if in addition to having, you know, the track explode right there, there was like another sub menu for track explode that would give me the option to predetermine a few settings. What I would call it would be explode groups. So within these explode groups, I'd have the ability to choose which pads go to which groups. Those pads, I could predetermine what track they go to. And the reason that I would want that is because if I'm doing a finger drumming performance, the main reason is if I have sample chops on different pads, I don't want those sample chops to go to different tracks. I don't have any reason for those to be on different tracks. It's just kind of just sloppy to me. So if I could predetermine track explode group 1, all my sample chops on, and then they would land on one track, that would be dope. And then this might also be useful for like
say if I had multiple hi-hats, I had an open hi-hat or a closed one, I'd want that on the same track, not on different tracks. A number two thing about these track explode groups that I think would be cool would be the ability to predetermine what they're called. So where they're going, what track they're going to, and what they're called. So either that, have that ability to name them, or just to bypass altogether what the tracks are named. So I just pick where they're landing, because I don't like the way that the MPC Live is auto naming my tracks. I don't need all that information. So if I had the ability to change that with something called track explode groups or something in that idea, in that fashion, then I think that would be super dope. It would give me more flexibility, more control of track explode, where everything is going. So that's it. So that's my number one feature request. If you guys have anything to expand on that, if you like that idea, go ahead and give me a +1 in the comments. So moving on to something else. My next feature request would be to have the ability to latch note repeat per pad. So on an individual pad basis. Right now I could do it for the entire program by holding shift and pressing note repeat, right? But that doesn't really give me the flexibility to do a finger drumming performance and then also have the ability just to hold a pad down for some hi-hats. Say if I was doing like a trap finger drumming performance. I want the ability to still be able to do my kicks, my snares, and my samples all independently of that hi-hat. And so basically this would be a function mostly for doing hi-hats, doing hi-hat rolls, and maybe some snare rolls, just depending on what the situation was. So that's a pretty simple one. I think the MPC Live should have this ability. MPC in general should have this ability because I've seen it in videos with software. I don't know how it's done specifically. I never really got into that. But I think that the MPC is the originator of the note repeat function. It's kind of one of the things that it's known for. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it'd be cool if the MPC was up to date, brought to that same space where other people have taken the function that the MPC originated. So my next feature request, I think, is pretty simple. I don't think it'd be too difficult to implement, but I'm not sure, I'm not a programmer or anything like that. Simply what it would be is that to have something like this. So this is a tuner. It's not just like a guitar tuner, it's a full frequency tuner. So it's able to detect pitches all across, a wide range of frequencies. So that would be a great feature to have within a sampler. Something that I would really like for myself, because I do create key groups and I want to create my own original instruments that are playable, and I could play harmonies and melodies. Alright, this next feature request kind of feels like a no-brainer to me, and I hope a lot of you kind of feel the same way. And what it is would be the ability to enter the track edit screen from the grid view. At the moment, it's not efficient at all. It's kind of annoying, actually. So there's a lot of good functions that you can do from the grid view screen, but there's some stuff that you have to go out into the main screen and then go into track edit. So for example, I'm going into grid view, and then say I want to take like this note, and I want to split the events and turn it into more MIDI notes. I'd have to hit main, right? And then I have to go to track edit, the little pencil icon, do the split events, hit do it. Now I have to go back into grid view, and then I can see the changes. Now if I don't like those changes, then I have to hit undo, right? This is another thing I don't like, is when you hit undo, when you're in grid view, not only does it undo what I did, but I don't necessarily know it, because it brings me back into the main screen window. So undo actually undoes a movement between screens. So I had to go back into track edit, and now I can actually see that what I had done had been undone. So I think that's annoying that the undo actually moves me out of grid view. So on top of that, the ability to have to be able to move into track edit from grid view, like if we had a button here somewhere, And if it is there somewhere and I just don't know it, please let me know. I feel stupid, but I don't care. I always like to learn. Maybe it could be a shift and then something pops up here on the screen and I can move in the track edit. On top of that, now just thinking about it, having the undo function that moves me out of the screen that I want to work in the grid view, for example, just like that. That is annoying. Let's get rid of that somehow, if that's possible. So here's another feature request I think needs to be fixed in order to keep the workflow moving within the MPC Live. Everything to me is about efficiency and better workflow. The feature request would be is the ability to move between pads within my plugins. At the moment, I think it's cool. As of right now, I do have the ability to move between all my 4 inserts that I have on each individual pad, right? I can do that like this. But I don't have the ability to move between pads when I'm in my plugins. So this slows down my workflow. For some reason, it locks up at this point. So my feature request would be the ability to move in between plugins per pad while you're in the plugin screen. But as I said, it locks up. So I can't move through my plugins efficiently, quickly. I had to go back out. Then I can, for some reason, it's no longer locked up. But once you go in the plugin itself, it locks up. Can we just free that up real quick? So there it is. Those are a few, like 4 or 5 feature requests I wish the MPC had the ability to do. So I'm throwing it out there to cyberspace. Let's see if Akai hears about it at all. I'm going to post this on the MPC forums. Now, none of these feature requests are ever a deal breaker for me. You know, I love what the MPC Live is. I think for me, it's the most useful tool that I've ever purchased. I'll never get rid of it. I'm going to be holding on to this one for a while and seeing the development that it's going towards. It's already got enough. Just a few little things that could be tweaked here and there. You know, there's some people out there that ain't happy with it. I feel like there's always some kind of workaround. There's almost always some other kind of workaround for a feature that doesn't exist. And I love that, you know. I love the kind of like MacGyvering of stuff and using what you have to the best of its ability. The limitation breeds creativity kind of thing. And you really can't say that about this right here. This thing is super powerful. This MPC Live is super powerful, I think, as a standalone thing. I bought one of these right here. It's a Zoom H1 handy recorder, and I bought it so that I can make my own drum samples and key groups from scratch. I took this to work the other day and just started recording random stuff that I felt would be percussive sounds that kind of imitate like kick drums, snares, claps, hi-hats, shakers, and that kind of thing. So I'm going to start editing those up in preparation for when I do hit the 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to create an expansion pack that contains at least one drum kit and at least one key group, all from scratch. Hopefully it'll be something unique that I can share with all of you. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah, if you want to hurry along the process of me hitting that 1K subscribers and getting this free kit, please do subscribe right now. And hit that bell icon so that you are notified when I drop this sample kit. Will be in the link of description of a future video, so look for that. Thanks everybody for joining me. I'm Raul, and this is Lifted Noise. Peace.